Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Wherever you are in the world today, I hope that you are doing great. Hope that all is pleasant for you. And most importantly, my friends, I hope that you are in good health. Once again, welcome to the Common Sense channel. On this channel, my friends, we get to talk about those things that people know, that people have thought about, but don't often have the time to discuss. These, my friends, are the things we discuss here on the Common Sense channel. So, once again, welcome to the Common Sense channel. So, today I want to ask a question, and the question is geared towards education. Higher education. And I just want to know what is going on with AI and skill, higher skill, because higher education is actually higher skill, professionality. And as far as I can remember, higher education was sold to people who were poor or people who are poor, not who were. When I say where, that would be people like myself who were in high school in the early 2000 to to this where we are now, because we're still in the uh to the 2000s, that going to college was the way of the American dream, that a higher education would be equivalent to all of the things that you would need. You know what I mean? That you would need to succeed or to tap into the American dream, you know. But for the past 20 to 20, no, for the past 20, I don't want to say 20 years because it goes way back. It goes beyond the 20 years now, or 25 or the 30 years, but nothing is new. But let's say for the past 25 years now, we've seen this rapid decrease in the effect that higher education has in the American dream. What do I mean about that? Is that more and more people with higher education are finding it difficult. The professional class. They used to call them, if you don't mind, for this video, for educational purposes, I'm doing this video too because I don't want someone to think I'm downgrading higher education. I'm not downgrading higher education. I'm just talking about the reality that people are facing with higher education in the workforce. And this is real now. This is so real that I think we should talk about it. And then to compound on the situation, we have the introduction of AI, which is just rapid in its growth. And our government, our politicians, our lawmakers are not even doing anything to address this issue as far as education is concerned. My whole thing here is, if AI, which is what this video is about, nothing against technology, I love technology. Our whole life is centered around technology. Our whole existence, as far as I'm concerned now, is centered around technology. It's scary, but what can you do? That's where our world is going. But if AI is going to be a force for change in our world, our governments, I know this is rapidly spreading in Western countries. Not worry about underdeveloped countries, because underdeveloped countries, they are the biggest factory in the world. We already know that. But is it true, or is it is what our Western countries becoming another huge factory? That's what it seems to me. And I'll explain what I mean about that, because there are people, and I know this to be true, who have went to school on the promise of going to school, getting an education. That would be poor people, or if you want to call them the middle class, that were promised of going to school, getting an higher education in various fields. I mean, you can name them. Engineering, you can name computer sciences, you can name accountants, you can name all these various fields outside of medical fields that these people were promised, not just promised a degree, but promised the American dream. What is the American dream? The American dream, now that I know it, because initially I didn't know what it meant. You know, I was just shown like a nice house, two car garage, a wife and the kids, and a nice neighborhood. That was the American dream. But that was what was shown to me, that if you do this, you do that, you go to school, you do all the things that you need to do, or the things that are told to you to do, these are your rewards. And it can just be me. There are millions of us that were sold this. No, nothing against higher education. It's good for a man to go to school. I know there are people out there that saw this thing long time and they were warning the people. And then some people thought that they were against higher education. Personally, I think it's good to be enlightened. I think it's good to be enlightened with the right information, which is why I'm talking about this, which is why I'm doing this video too, because I think, honestly think, if AI is going to be the new employer in our world, or the one that's going to take over our professional job, then why do we need to even go to college and spend all that time, wreck a lot of money in debt? We can just do things towards AI, like the things that will allow us to enter into the future employment. Because what I see today is, if you get out of college with a college degree, they don't tell you this. And if you don't have a good network, when I say good network, I mean people that can just hook you up once you get out into, maybe if it's not your dream job, but a start-up job, then it is difficult for you to even find a job. Not only that you have to have that network, then you have to have experience in the job that you had went to school for, or the field or the area that you had went to school for. We're not even talking about people with a bachelor degree, a 4 years degree. No, we're talking about people with a master's degrees. We're talking about people with a doctorate degrees that are having it difficult to find a job in the field that they have went to school for. Is it fair? No. But the world is not fair. And that's the thing that I think, that it looks like all of us, that's including those with a doctor or master's degree or bachelor degree. It looks like all of us are going to be factory worker. All of us are going to be working in the factory. I think that's what's all of this thing is going. And AI is going to be the one doing the professional job. If I'm wrong, prove me wrong. The only way I think we can get out of this situation, and I think only ordinary people can start to voice their opinion on this, is for us to re-envision education. Is it going to be towards the rapid changes that AI is introducing to our world? Or is it going to be, this is across the board, even in movies, even in music. Everybody have to start to think about what can you do? Because if you don't, there'll come a day when you're going to wake up and you won't have a job to do. I think it was 2 days ago. I think a day ago, I saw um a news flash from Michael Rubio of all people, and he was talking. And this is the Secretary of State now. He's a powerful man. He was talking about what he thought about jobs, the job market. That if we don't take that, I don't know if it was a warning, but I don't take anything from these people lightly because these are powerful people, you know? Talking about the job market. I mean, Mr. Rubio, if you're going to be talking about that, that's scary. That's really scary because that means none of our jobs are secure. It don't matter your degree. You understand? And I think job for most people, Mr. Rubio, and anyone else that understand the danger that we're in, is security. You know, where are we heading? Are most of us going to be working in the medical field? That would be mostly hands-on job because factory is mostly hands-on job. In the medical field, it's mostly hands-on jobs. Is that what we're going to be doing, or everyone is going to be working in a factory? Because if you look at the trend as far as pay is concerned, and this is true across the board, factories, don't matter what you're doing. When I say factory, most jobs are factory. Let's just say that. You understand? Pays more in today's world. I think in the past too, because if you look at in the past, some people can get a job in the factory making 15, $16. Maybe 20 years ago, 30 years ago, that was a high paying jobs. If you're in a factory making $15, $20 an hour, 40 years ago, that was a decent job. Decent job with healthcare benefits and everything. So today, factory pays more than, say, someone who has a bachelor degree, who are just coming out of college and looking for a job. And then the worst thing that they put to you, which I think is not fair, but again, we don't live in a world that's fair, is they ask you for experiences. And that experiences question has been the key issue in, or the actually the bone to contend with for most people who just graduated from college with a bachelor degree and are looking for a job. Because had someone told you that, look, you're gonna graduate from college with a 4 years degree. 4 years, it's not 4 days. And when you talk of college, it depends on the field that you were excited about to go into. And you graduate with a degree, and now they're telling you need experience. And they say, oh, well, your resume looks great. Worst of all, you don't have no networking. You don't know no one out there. And even if you do, the people you know don't have enough to accommodate you into that job, whatever is out there. And even if they do, they're offering you something that's not even reasonable. But then you look around, you look at yourself, you look at your condition, you look at your family structure, you look at everything. You say to yourself, I don't have a choice. Let me just take it, even though that's not what you want to do. You see, so at the end of the day, you talk to a friend, and a friend says, oh, well, I work down at this factory right here, and I get paid $25, $30 an hour. And then you say to yourself, well, why did I even go to school for? I spent all this time in college. And look at Tyrone makes more than I do. Me, with a college degree. So at the end of the day, you look at yourself, you look at Tyrone, you be like, you know what, maybe I need to. So I think, this is what I think. This is just my own thinking, my own opinion. Everything I do is my own thinking, my own opinion. Are we to restructure or re-envision, because I think even the colleges in this country and more in most Western countries, developed as they call them, developed countries, are also thinking about this trend. They must be thinking about the effect of the rapid growth of AI in all industries, in all spectrums of the workforce, not just in like higher education, even in entertainment, in sports, in any other field out there. You have to be thinking, not those ones that are physical, those ones that require physical energy and hands-on. Those, I think, they're safe. That would be sports. Sports is physical, but who knows? Things could change. So I think higher education, nothing against you. I think a man must learn and learn the right. I think they should learn the right information, which is the essence of my video. That if AI is going to be our new employer, or if AI is going to be the one driving the workforce, then we need to know, or people need to be taught in school, higher education, not just higher education from the elementary level to high school, those things that will require them. Or maybe AI is going to produce new form of jobs. Who knows? But I think those behind AI knows these things, because I don't think it's fair. AI to me, it feels like Uber and Lyft and the others that just enter the field. Like remember back in the days, they used to have the yellow cab. Because when I lived in New York, they used to have the yellow cab. These people, they just flog them. They're there, but they have this huge competition going on. Is it going to be a competition, or just going to take over? And I think we don't need to wait. This is for higher education, those people that are overseeing higher education. If you really care about the workforce now, you need to rethink and restructure education. If all of us are not going to be factory workers, then we need to have skilled people. It's always good to have skilled people. Or maybe the handy people are going to be the new skilled people. Maybe, who knows? Maybe this thing is going to reverse. Because if AI is going to take over accounting, AI is going to take over, what do you call it? Engineering. If AI is going to take over those things that you need to use the mind to function them. If AI is going to take over them, then what will be left? This is just my fear and some questions. What would be left for the workforce or the working class? And that's something I think about. I know sometimes in life, because life is not fair, those things that you want, those things that you dreamed of, sometimes you don't really get them. It's just how it is. But I've always had this feelings about things that even if they're done, you still have to live. And because you have to live, you must adjust, and I think humans are adjustable. But those people that are our so-called leaders, or our leaders, they have to be able to envision for us, especially those, since we live in a representative government, then our representatives needs to start to think about this future. We can't just sit down and wait till it all happen. When I say it all happen, we can't just sit to wait till the day when AI officially take over. Because as I'm speaking, every now and then you hear of mass layoff from big companies, whether it's in Ohio, Michigan, New York, Maryland, wherever that layoff is occurring in this country. You hear them on your local news, on national news. You hear them. but no one is having a national dialogue on as far as higher education is concerned, because most people who have acquired higher education with good intention to go to school and make a difference in their communities and are having difficulties finding jobs in those sectors, what would they do? And if they can't find the job, even if not the job they need, then what do they do with the degree that they have acquired? Now they, my friends, have to pay back those loans. That's including all of us. It's a scary thought, but at the same time, you are required to pay back those loans. But with a job, not just any job now, good paying jobs now, you're not just going to take something because you want to be working, especially with the cost of everything now. So it's so compounding on the people. I mean, poor people. I'm not going to say middle class. Middle class are poor people, So it's two class of people. Middle class, if they want to, because they segmented us into various classes. It used to be all these classes now. They used to have the rich, the the affluent, the no, the super rich, affluent, middle class, and poor. So today I think everyone has lumped into the poor now. So the middle class, the affluent, they all fall in the poor category. And then the rich, super rich are right here. And even them, it's scary for them too, because imagine a world where there are too many poor people, you know, too many poor people, less jobs. Because what AI does is actually um, reduce competition from people who are skilled and give it to the 1%, one person holding on everything. So it's kind of scary. And I think, this is what I think, that if nothing is done, mm, we could have a situation where everyone is on universal income. And not only that, everyone might, if I'm not making a mistake, be working for the government. I don't trust the government as far as employment is concerned, but at the same time, because I know the government is not adequate as far as employment is concerned. If you want the government to be an employer, and even them are cutting back on most jobs. So I think the writing is on the wall, and I think we need to see it. And I mean, when I say we, I'm talking about ordinary people, poor people. They used to call them middle class people, but all of us are the same now. We need to start to discuss, have a discussion on this, because I think we're left out. And whoever is running AI, whoever is behind AI, are the ones that are actually enjoying this show. And please, this is my appeal to higher education and the supervisors of higher education and the minds behind higher education. When I say higher education, I'm talking about traditional colleges, traditional colleges and traditional universities. I think it's high time that you, my friends, start to think about how to re-envision learning. Because I think it's gonna be, if nothing is done, it's gonna be hard for you to have new students come through those doors, because they're gonna be asking the same questions that I'm asking, which are, what is the importance of higher education? How can we navigate our world, even with a degree? What can we do with the degree? How useful is our degree if we cannot find the job that we need? Or even if we can't find the job that we need, we can't find a job that pays livable wage. Wages that you can say, you know what, honey, you don't need to work every day. Maybe you work part time. I do. I work full time and be able to take care of you and the kids, so the children can grow up in a home where at least one person is home and then the other is at work. Or both parents can alternate, where a single mom can say, you know what, I can leave the kids home, and then I make enough money to pay daycare, to take them to grandma and give grandma something. So by the time I get off work, I can be able to pick them up. This is an ideal world, a country where everyone is, pitching in, everyone is doing great. A job where I know it sounds great, but everyone want this. Every one of us want these kind of things. And I don't think it's hard for us to have them, you know? And yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And if this thing get worse, it's bad for higher education too. Or maybe could somebody be behind this whole thing to keep them out of business? Who knows? It's just thinking. But yeah, I think it's time that something is done before it's too late. When you can hear Michael Rubio talking about this thing, talking about how AI could kick a lot of people out of their jobs. This is serious. I think it should be an emergency meeting. Call on this. It should be an urgency to address this issue before it get worse. Because jobs, no matter how you see it, it's a form of security for a lot of people. A lot of people, I'm telling you. If you don't have a job, it's not a good feeling. And especially if you're a male figure, that's just um, throw you off, make you upset, and make you angry. If you're not someone who's strong in the mind, like some people who say, I must find a job in my field. I'm not going to stoop down to factory level jobs. I must find a job. But one thing you don't know, we're moving towards that. Every one of us, even you with a doctorate degree, if nothing is done, you might be working in a factory. We don't know what that factory might look like. Yeah, maybe the medical field could turn to a factory. Who knows? Maybe an accounting could turn to a factory. An accounting area of work could turn to a factory. Maybe an engineering degree or area of this economy, the workforce could turn to a factory. It's just thinking about that stuff, like what will you do? And maybe you may not even need an office to go sit in. We've seen now today there are a lot of buildings sitting out in our various communities that are empty simply because no one employers are not able to afford getting a building to to um to have people sitting in cubits, um, as a makeshift office. So what would you do? So yeah, yeah, you start thinking about this stuff. Yeah, start thinking about this. And I think there should be a national debate on this, like a discussion, if not debate, but a discussion to talk about the next step. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I'm a lover of technology. I've always been a lover of technology from the beginning. When people were having you remember the cell phone where you used to put where had a long antenna? Yeah, I used to sit with friends and we used to talk about a day. We were looking into the future and talking about a day where we'll have cell phone that looks like computers in our palm and everything is gonna be on there. This is way before smartphone. So I've always been someone that talks about technology, but AI is a different beast, and every day it's advancing. I mean, we can see it now. It's one of those things that's scary. But again, this is the world. We don't, especially those countries that live in a capitalistic society, it's all about competition, you know? So if they are moving rapidly, human, as far as humans should try to move alongside technology. I know we're not moving alongside technology, AI. We are just sitting on the back and waiting for someone to move us into it. And I think we need to start to discuss that as soon as possible because we don't have time. And those people that represent us in our various communities, our various localities, our various states, um, they need to start to discuss this before it become a problem. It could be a problem for even the representative if they cannot get more jobs into their states, for their constituencies, for their communities. That could be a problem too. So have more town halls around the place talking about this. I just wanted to do this video because I just it's scary, and I think about it all the time. I think about it because for me, job is a security, and I think, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I may be thinking something else, but it's scary though. Like more students are having, especially people who are getting out of college and with a degree. Now they're gonna be stuck out there looking for jobs. It could go from 2, 3, 4 months, 5 months, and they may not have choice but to move in with their parents or find a way to have a roommate or do something because or maybe go work in places that they didn't even go to school for. It's been happening to people who are already have a degree and they can find a job. So you coming into the workforce, it's not going to be any different if you didn't pick a degree that were geared towards the new introduction or the new employer, which is AI. So, or the ones you have to compete with. Most of you will be competing with AI. So it's a scary time, scary situation. People who are in living in underdeveloped world, in underdeveloped countries, um, their situation is what we are headed to if nothing is done. And that's the truth. And politicians, you need to wake up. You need to start to think about ways to address this problem. You can't stop it. That's our reality. So all you can do is to work with colleges, universities, to see how both of you can work to have, or maybe those who are behind AI can start to work with these universities too, these colleges, to come up with something that will compensate for the workforce so that way compensate the workforce in a way that they can get into it and become acclimated to it, and that once they get out of college they're able to find something. We're waiting for that so we can see how we can change our path because humans are adaptable. Humans are adjustable, to anything, any conditions. That's how we're designed, that's how we're wired. So yeah, it's just my own 2 cents on this situation, and I hope that someone out there is listening to this and doing something so it's not too late. Understand? So as I've always said, I want to thank all those people and new subscribers. I want to thank you for subscribing to the Common Sense channel. I also want to thank all those people that support my videos, watch my videos. I want to thank you. I hope you're thinking the same way I'm thinking because this is scary. It is scary. Yeah, it's scary across the board. Like I said, all spectrums of the workforce is scary, could be impacted. I don't like to see my neighbors coming home saying I just got laid off because um my employer said there's nothing going on. And with the economy like this, it's so uncertain. The uncertainties of our world today, especially those of us that live in the Western countries, are scary. And something must be done. So as I've always say, the greatest thing that could ever happen to anyone, it's not the day you're born, not the day you graduated from high school, college, that you became a lawyer, doctor, engineer, anything you're working on, my friends. The day you discover yourself is the greatest thing that could ever happen to you. And once again, I want to say thank you to everyone that subscribe to my channel, those who watch my videos, those who follow me. And most importantly, as I've always say, again, I wish you a great day. I hope all is pleasant for you. And most importantly, my friend, I hope that you are in good health in spite of all the uncertainties and all the craziness happening around us. Think and be wise. Our world is changing, and it's changing for the better or for the worse. Thank you and have a pleasant day.